Hello, how you doing?
Where are you? Lol.
I'm in London. Where are you at? Oh, you're in the studio.
I'm in Los Angeles, and clearly you are as well. Wow, man, it looks all renovated and nice. When I was in there, it was a shithole.
Yeah, we moved, we had an upgrade. It's a little bit of an improvement.
There's that debut album money. So that is.
Yeah. No, we thought we'd after 5 years of working in a window basement, that we might have that we probably deserve some natural light in a window.
I mean, I liked the rustic nature of the previous place. I mean, it felt like anxiety to me, but that looks nice.
Yeah, it's nice, man. It's good to have a hub and a home and a place to get other artists and people down and not feel the need to kind of reassure them that they're safe and not in any danger.
What are you working on? Come on, you don't hold back. What's going on?
We are in the midst of finishing a mixtape, in the middle of an album.
A Bastille album?
Yeah. That's the band I'm in.
Easy. Wait a minute, rewind. I know you're in Bastille, you cheeky but you also do about 50 other things.
Yeah, no, sorry, mate. Sorry.
No, that's good. So you don't waste any time. I thought you guys just got off the road. Don't you normally take some time between records?
Not really. We were making music on the road, had a sort of studio set up. By studio set up, I mean my laptop and a little mic.
Yeah.
We've been writing a lot. It's been really fun working on the mixtape.
Wait, what's the difference between the mixtape and the album, or are they one and the same thing?
No, they're different. So, the mixtapes, this will be our fourth one, and the idea is they're called Other People's Heartache, and it was this kind of hyper-real, cinematic, vaguely hip-hop collaborations project where we got to work with lots of different bands and producers and vocalists and spoken word people and rappers and kind of use covers and other people's songs as a starting point. But this one's a real mix of collaborations.
So what can you tell us about it then? What is unique about this one as opposed to the other ones?
I don't know, man. It feels like a nice reflection of what we're really into at the moment. There's a couple of big songs. There's a few old covers that you definitely wouldn't expect that I think we've completely reimagined and reframed. And hopefully just a bunch of interesting and exciting voices that you may or may not expect to hear. And it's just a space for us to sort of have fun with production and mess around and I guess defy people's expectations a little bit.
It's great, man. It resets exactly what you guys do every time, and I love that. I think it's smart. And I guess the question is timing. I suppose mixtape comes first, right? And then album comes next. So are you hoping to get the mixtape out first quarter next year, or is it going to be sooner than that?
Yeah, the plan is to have the mixtape out as soon as possible and then the record sometime after that. So.
And how's the album feeling? Are you having fun making the album? Because you're doing two simultaneous projects. One is obviously freewheeling and there's no expectation to do it apart from your own, to go out there and do whatever you want. The other one is a natural follow-on from a previous one. That's what albums do, right? They speak to each other. So, I mean, how's the album feeling overall?
I'm having such an amazing time making the record. It's obviously really nice to be in this new space physically, but also I think with this record we have a real clear idea of what we want it to be, how we want it to sound. It's very much got a theme, and that just makes making a record such a kind of easy and fun experience. And I think it's some of the more interesting stuff that we've ever made. I think it's got a real sonic identity to it, and we're just having a really good time making it. We've set ourselves quite a strict limit. I want it to be a proper, concise, short record. We've just got way more songs than we need at the moment, so it's the hardest thing's going to be to cut it down. But it's been so much fun. Between our first and our second record, it was over 3 years, and we made so much music for the second album. And I think just for my own sanity, I'd love to be able to release more concise and more individual records kind of almost every year and a half. Be able to sort of be like, right, there's a chapter, we tried that, draw a line, there's another chapter, we tried that. And to have that and the mixtapes running alongside and all the other projects we've got going on, yeah, man, it's fun.
You've toured your second album successfully and internationally, and it worked, and the record was a success. Were you done when you stopped touring that? I mean, in terms of hardcore touring, was it the perfect time, or were you, how did you feel when the tour came to an end?
It came to a really natural end. I think it was interesting for us as a band that started out and toured from the very beginning, from literally toilet venues, pubs, up to kind of arenas, and sort of hitting every step along the way. With our second album, we very much had a statement. There was an aesthetic, there was a visual, there was quite a kind of current message to it, and we had so much fun with it, and I hope that people that came to it sort of got into it. But it was the first time I think we've been able to step back and be like, right, that was an era of our, hopefully, career. You know, we did it, we finished it, and now we're just moving on to the next thing.
Bastille are back with a brand new song, which is called World's Gone Mad, and it's taken from a soundtrack to the movie Bright, which, you know, if you know David Ayer, the director, you know that music plays a very important role in all the movies that he does. Suicide Squad soundtrack was off the chart, and now he's done it again, and he's got Bastille involved, and I know you love movies, and I know that you are, you know, OCD, ADD, creative DJ type cat. So talk about this project and why this song, why this project, what motivated you. Give us the full skinny.
I'm completely obsessed with movies, completely obsessed with soundtracks. The idea of doing film and music together is like an absolute dream. And it was just so much fun, you know. We got approached by the guys to see the film and shown the scene that they were kind of like looking for this song for. And I had an idea, the beginnings of an idea that I kind of worked into something kind of completely new for the movie. And you couldn't really have written it any better. We made the demo, gave it to them, and often when you sort of hand something in or send something off, there's a bit of a delay, and as a creative person it's like kind of crushing if you don't hear back, you know, even within a day. And literally 10 minutes later I got a call back, and everyone was sort of really into the song. They wanted it to be a single, and it was one of the most satisfying experiences like that I've ever had. They commissioned like the strings. We did this big live string recording within a week. And then the fun thing was that there's a version of the song in the film that's different to the version that's on the album, and the film version was much more about, you know, making the song fit the scene. And so that was kind of quite fun, almost like mental puzzle to sort of make that work, and I'm really happy with that version. But then there's also this proper version that we did for the album and for the single, and to be able to release a song like this with a film is just so exciting for us. Like, I don't know if it's a song that our record label would have totally loved putting out in terms of how it is and where it sits, but I feel like just what the song is saying, both in relation to the film and in relation to the world as it is now, in the least kind of wanky way possible, it feels like exactly what we wanted to put out now. So we're just super excited to have it out there.
I think we're beyond wankiness when it comes to reflection on the world right now. I think, you know, if you're an artist and you have a voice, then you should, you know, taking a look at how you say it and what people will think about it is less of an issue, because I think that people need to speak and they want to say something. And I think if we second guess and overanalyze how we feel, we're missing the point.
Yeah, these are very strange times, and I think it's important to have a big mix of voices out there, you know, diluting some of the more negative ones and some of the more disagreeable voices out there. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a time where people with a platform, no matter what it is, kind of should use it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, your last album, your second record, was a personal album, and, you know, it still took a look at the world as a whole, but it felt like it was attached to a more personal metaphor overall, you know. And I wonder whether or not this new album, given that what this song is saying, World's Gone Mad, and what we just spoke about, whether this new album is a slightly more worldly affair, do you think, thematically, at least so far?
I think with the next record, we're very much trying to, if the last one was kind of looking at the world and trying to figure out how to react to it, how it is at the moment. And that's kind of an impossible thing to ask, you know, on a personal level, be it watching news media, be it, you know, just experiencing the things that are happening around the world all the time. As an everyday person, like, it's such a head, and knowing, you know, some people will just want to shut off to it because it can be really depressing. Other people want to engage and try and help out. Like, you know, it brings out a whole variety of responses from people. I think that's what the last record was looking at. With the next album, I think we sort of want to acknowledge that we're living in that world, but it's more of a moment. It's more of trying to have a fun time with your friends for a minute in the context of that, because I think that can be a really, you know, not that it's necessarily helpful to sort of shut off the world for a minute, but if you're constantly engaged with it, as it is, particularly via the news, it can be so overwhelming and so, like, anxiety provoking. And I think sometimes it's necessary for your sanity to just home in on the things that you love and the people that you enjoy hanging out with, and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm taking pleasure in music and pleasure in nights out and making each other laugh and all that kind of stuff. So, like, I want our next record to sort of, it's going to be a kind of much more intimate, probably slightly more inward-looking and fun record, really. It's like an apocalyptic party record is what I've been calling it.
Before I let Dan go, back to work in the studio right now, London evening time. You know, I know you've been out here writing with other people and working with other people. How's that experience been?
Yeah, really fun. I mean, I've always loved writing for other people's projects, and, you know, as you know, we've got like a little indie label with artists that we work with, so that's always been really fun. I spent the first amount of time ever in LA writing for other people and writing with other producers, and it was really great. You know, some of the stuff will be on the mixtape. I think with our records, we have a real sense of the mixtapes are a space to go and collaborate and co-write and feature other people. In our albums, I feel are really, like, it's really our space as a band to sort of do our own thing. And I think where we want to push our albums, I think it's important that it comes from us and not from other people. So I'm such a geek. I love just making songs. I love writing. I love whatever it's for. And so it's been really fun, doing some slightly more alternative stuff, doing pop things, doing whatever, man. It's been good.
You got a keyboard lined up there? You got a sound going? What you got? Anything live?
I could get the Wurlitzer on.
Why don't you get the Wurlitzer on and go low? I'll hit you with a beat. Let's make something for the mixtape via the magic of FaceTime video. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I got it.
Here we go.
There you go.
Needs work.
That was 4 chords. Way.